Hi, I'm Carmen Ladisa from the GTA Condo Pro team. We're so excited to be joined today by a very special guest who has been a trendsetter in the Canadian real estate market for decades. Hunter Milborne is the president and founder of the Milborne Group and is recognized as the Dean of Condos, having established his company as the dominant condominium broker in Canada. Hunter has been at the forefront of the pre-construction scene in the Greater Toronto area for over 40 years.
How's the Milborne Group experience 2021 in real estate?
Listen, 2021 for us is perhaps maybe not going to be our best year ever, but perhaps the second best year ever in terms of dollar volume and unit sale volume. And I think that, the basic economics 100 of supply and demand is that, our government agencies, CMHC, has consistently said over the last many years that the GTA needs 50 to 55,000 new homes every year to keep the market balanced. And what we've been receiving is, when you add up all the pre-construction condos, all the towns, all the stacked towns, all the single family, it's about 40 to 45,000. And that's pretty much been what the case has been for the last 10 or 15 years. So, not only do you have this annual supply deficit, but now you've got this cumulative supply deficit. And I think that's one of the reasons why prices are going up and are going to continue to go up. And the second thing is that, in classic economics, you've got two things that make prices go up. One of them is called demand pull, which is that, so you've got more demand than supply, so the prices get pulled up. And then the other one is called cost push. So that's prices go up, right? So with all this stimulus of the governments and all this, supply chain interruption, I know we have projects that started construction a year ago where the clients have told us that if we started construction today, the costs would be 8, 10, 12% more than it would be. So prices are going up for two reasons: because they can from the demand side, and because they must from the cost side. So that's, it's a perfect storm. Whether that's, it depends, if you're an owner, it's great news. If you're waiting to buy, not so great. If you try to do things in the stock market, the stock market is really an insider's game, right? And the real estate market is really, much more broad-based. And, if you take the economics of a normal pre-construction sale, and you say, whether someone assumes that, notwithstanding the fact that prices have been going up 5, 6, 8, 10% compounded annually, even if you say it's at the very lower end of that scale, let's say it's 5%. So if you do the very rough math and you say we have an asset value of 700,000 and a deposit of around 100,000, and you get a 4-year delivery. So basically, if that asset value goes up 5% a year, even without the compounding, it's $140,000, right? $35,000 a year for 4 years. But your deposit is $100,000. So how do you take $100,000 and turn it into 100 or 140 in 4 years before you've even closed on something? Yeah. That's, to me, the magic of buying pre-construction.
And so one of the trends we've noticed, and this isn't COVID related necessarily, is that buyers are now looking at the suburbs more seriously for investment properties and homes, right? So obviously the prices are more affordable for many outside of the city, and we see the value of investing in the areas, for example, like Vaughan, Newmarket, and Stouffville. We also believe that the downtown core is poised for incredible growth as well. Do you agree that those markets have a lot of room to grow?
I do, and there's an old saying that the rising tide raises all boats, right? But if you take a 30,000-foot view of the GTA, I mean, Yorkville is probably the most expensive neighborhood. And the per buildable square foot, which is the metric of land values in Yorkville now, it's developers are paying $500 to $600 per square foot of buildable area just for the land. So that translates into a selling price that's going to be $1,900 to $2,000, right? So that's kind of, if you take that 30,000 foot view and say, where's the most expensive? 33 Yorkville coming shortly, 2 towers, 76 stories, 55 stories, direct indoor access to the Yonge and Bloor subway. But at those kind of numbers, it'll have incredible demand and it'll sell very quickly. But not everybody can afford those prices, right? So then let's say now you're downtown. So depending on where downtown, that might be $1,200 to $1,500 per square foot. So it's still expensive. You know, when you start to do the math based on whatever size that you're looking for, it's pricey. So now, you know, if you're going to Bowmanville or Newmarket or Stouffville or Hamilton or even Niagara Falls, like I think those are the markets that are going to be, you know, if you can buy something now, it's $800 or $900 a square foot.
Yeah.
It's probably going to appreciate at a similar rate. Who knows in terms of that, but it's more affordable entry point. So I think that's why, I mean, I think the prime GTA markets will do well because the transit base in those prime locations have always been very desirable, but there's fewer and fewer people that can afford those. So I think that those 905 locations are going to continue to do well and experience probably a similar rate of appreciation. In the last 25 years, if you picked the worst possible time to buy a piece of real estate, you know, the peak where, because there always is peaks and valleys and stuff. So if you picked the worst possible date and bought there and kept it for 10 or 15 years, you'd still be a big winner. You know, people only get hurt when they try to time the market, right? Buying and selling, like in the stock market. So I think that, you know, with the stock market, it's hopefully a get-rich-quick plan for a few, whereas the real estate market is a get-rich-slow plan for the many, right?
Yeah.
The feedback I've gotten, particularly from Mariana and the staff at 9th and Main and a lot of the projects that you guys have been working on, has been, you know, hardworking, professional, diligent, you know, really, you know, taking care of the clients. I mean, those are the things that, you know, you need to do to build a good long-term loyal clientele, right? And you know, if you wrap all that diligence and professionalism around, you know, a pretty good market. I mean, we're all pretty lucky to be here in the GTA compared to a lot of other North American cities or other places in the world. So I think that, you know, just keep doing what you're doing, you guys, you know, so it's been great.
Awesome, thank you.
We have so many developments selling this year in the 416 and 905 areas, and we look forward to bringing them to the market with your team. Thanks for joining us today. Contact our team, GTA Condo Pro, to get the pulse on the newest real estate developments in the Greater Toronto Area.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to continuing to work with you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.